Michael Jordan owned a $50 million nightclub. What he didn't own was an explanation for what happened that night. When the judge asked him directly, "Mr. Jordan, did you know about the violence?" his answer shocked everyone in the room. But this story isn't just about a nightclub fight. This is about the world's greatest basketball legend thinking he was above the law and being forced to face reality. And today, I'll tell you, with never-before-heard details from the courtroom, how Michael Jordan's empire was shaken by a single question. Before watching this video, let me ask you something. Have you or people around you ever encountered situations where someone used power and money to try to escape justice? Do you think such behavior is right? Share your thoughts in the comments, because after watching this story, your opinions might change. And if you love these kinds of courtroom dramas, don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we share untold courtroom stories of NBA stars every week. In the heart of Chicago, on Michigan Avenue, stood Jordan's Den, the city's most prestigious nightclub. Michael Jordan had purchased this venue for $50 million in 2019. The basketball legend, after retirement, had invested in entertainment alongside his Charlotte Hornets investment. The club consisted of 3 floors. The first floor was open to regular customers, while the second floor VIP section was invitation only. The third floor was Jordan's private area. Only people he personally chose could enter. The walls were adorned with replicas of NBA championship trophies and Jordan's career photographs. Every weekend, Hollywood stars, music industry celebrities, and sports world giants would gather here. The minimum bill was $500, and the reservation list was booked months in advance. Jordan would typically be at his club on Friday nights, spending the evening playing poker with friends. Marcus Williams was a 28-year-old software engineer. He was a loyal Chicago Bulls fan and one of Jordan's biggest admirers. That night, he had come to Jordan's Den with friends to celebrate his birthday. He had made a reservation 3 months prior, paid $2,000, and planned to spend the most special night of his life here. The night began at 11 p.m. Marcus and his 3 friends had reserved a table on the first floor. The club was packed, the music was loud, and everyone was having fun. Marcus posted on his Instagram account, "I'm at Jordan's Den," and started taking photos. At 12:30 a.m., the first problem began. Marcus, while going to the restroom, had mistakenly headed toward the stairs leading to the second floor. Here, security guard Derek Thompson stopped him. "This is the VIP section. You need to go back," he said. Marcus apologized and turned to go downstairs. However, Derek Thompson's behavior was aggressive. He roughly pushed Marcus by the shoulder and yelled, "Don't try to come upstairs again." Marcus tried to explain that he had come there by mistake, but Thompson wasn't listening. "Who do you think you are to come here? This place isn't for ordinary people like you." Thompson's words were heard by nearby customers. Marcus was also starting to get angry. "I'm a customer too. I ask for your respect," he said. That's when everything spiraled out of control. Thompson punched Marcus. Marcus fell to the ground and hit his head on the marble floor. Blood started flowing, and Marcus lost consciousness. Other customers in the club rushed to the scene. An ambulance was called, and Marcus was taken to the hospital. He had a skull fracture and had to stay in the hospital for 3 weeks. Michael Jordan was at the club that night. He was playing poker in his private room on the 3rd floor. When the incident occurred, he didn't come downstairs. Club manager Robert Hayes reported the situation to Jordan. "There's a small problem downstairs. One of the customers argued with our security guard and there was an accident. He was taken to the hospital, but it's nothing serious," Hayes' explanation went. Jordan's first reaction was, "Check the security camera footage and handle this quietly. Don't let it leak to the media." This conversation was recorded by security cameras because Jordan's private room also had a recording system. The next day, Jordan's lawyers called Marcus's family. "Mr. Jordan is very sorry about this unfortunate incident. He's ready to cover hospital expenses and wants to pay additional compensation. In return, he hopes this matter can be closed quietly," was their offer. Marcus's family initially considered accepting this offer. Hospital expenses had reached $50,000, and an additional $100,000 compensation was being offered. However, Marcus's father, David Williams, a retired police officer, didn't want to let this matter go. "My son came back from death's door. This isn't just about money. "We want justice," said David Williams. Marcus Williams's family filed a $25 million compensation lawsuit against Michael Jordan and Jordan's Den. The lawsuit was filed on grounds of violence, negligence, and inadequate security measures. Lawyer Sarah Mitchell was Marcus's representative. Mitchell, with 15 years of experience, had previously won lawsuits against many celebrities. Jordan, being famous, doesn't exempt him from responsibility. He owns that club and is responsible for what happens there, she said. Jordan's legal team was led by David Sterling. Sterling, from Chicago's most expensive law firm, was making the defense that this was an unfortunate accident. Mr. Jordan has no personal responsibility. The case would be heard at Cook County Court. The judge was Margaret Foster, with 30 years of experience. Foster was known for her stern attitude and unbiased approach toward celebrities. The first hearing was held on September 15, 2023. Media showed intense interest. Whether Jordan would come to court was being wondered. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, television cameras, and curious citizens. Everyone was waiting to see Michael Jordan. The hearing began at 10 a.m. Judge Margaret Foster took her place. "In this case, everyone is equal. Being famous or not makes no difference," she said, opening the hearing. Jordan's lawyer, David Sterling, stood up. "Your Honor, my client, Mr. Jordan, is present in court today," he said. Michael Jordan entered through the back door. Dressed in a black suit with a serious expression, he sat next to his lawyer. The hall fell into deep silence. Marcus Williams's lawyer, Sarah Mitchell, made her opening statement. "Your Honor, what happened to Marcus Williams on the night of March 15th was not an accident. This was the result of systematic negligence. Jordan's Den security guards were encouraged to resort to violence against customers. This claim had a bombshell effect." Jordan leaned toward his lawyer and whispered something. Mitchell continued. "We have security camera recordings, witness statements, and audio recordings of what Mr. Jordan said that night. We will prove that Mr. Jordan had prior knowledge of the incident and tried to cover it up." In the second hearing, Sarah Mitchell began presenting her evidence. First, she showed the security camera footage. The footage from that night was played on the large screen in the hall. The moment Derek Thompson attacked Marcus was clearly visible. While Marcus was only trying to apologize, Thompson had punched him. "As you can see," said Mitchell, "this is not self-defense. This is assault." But the real bombshell was the audio recordings taken from Jordan's private room. The conversation Jordan had with the club manager that night was played. "Robert, let's handle this incident quietly. Don't let it leak to the media. If necessary, we'll buy off the family." Murmurs began in the courtroom. Jordan's face tensed. Judge Foster warned. "Silence!" Mitchell said, "Your Honor, Mr. Jordan himself admits in this recording that he tried to cover up the situation." Jordan's lawyer, Sterling, objected. "This conversation has been taken out of context. Mr. Jordan simply wanted to resolve the situation quietly." Judge Foster looked at Jordan. "Mr. Jordan, would you explain this conversation?" That moment had arrived. Michael Jordan stood up. When Michael Jordan stood up in the courtroom, everyone held their breath. This was the moment when one of the world's most famous athletes would defend himself in a courtroom. "Your Honor," Jordan began, his voice confident but tense, "I am a businessman. I have many investments in Chicago. Jordan's Den is just one of them. The incident that happened that night was unfortunate, and I'm very sorry about it." Jordan paused, looked at the hall, and continued. "But I wasn't present during that incident. I was on the third floor and was informed after the incident. I didn't try to buy off the family. I simply wanted to cover the hospital expenses because it was the right thing to do." Judge Foster was looking at Jordan carefully. "Mr. Jordan, in the audio recording you say, 'Handle the situation quietly.' What does this mean?" Jordan's lawyer Sterling wanted to intervene, but Jordan stopped him with his hand. "Your Honor, I am Michael Jordan. When my name appears in the media, it becomes big news. I simply wanted to prevent unnecessary speculation." This answer caused murmurs in the hall. Some thought Jordan was arrogant, while others found it logical. But Marcus's lawyer, Sarah Mitchell, was ready. "Mr. Jordan, do you see yourself as above the law?" Jordan's face reddened. "Of course not. I respect the law. Then why didn't you fire your security guard, Derek Thompson?" Mitchell's question was sharp. Jordan hesitated. We were investigating that matter." 6 months have passed, Mr. Jordan. Are you still investigating? Jordan couldn't answer. Judge Foster intervened. Mr. Jordan, I want you to answer this question. In the third hearing, Marcus Williams came to court for the first time. The operation scars on his skull were still visible. He entered the hall in a wheelchair because he still had difficulty maintaining balance. Marcus's testimony affected everyone. Your Honor, I just wanted to celebrate my birthday. Michael Jordan had been my hero since childhood. Being at his club was a great honor for me. His voice was trembling. But that night, everything changed. Derek Thompson treated me like an animal just because I mistakenly went to the wrong floor. Marcus couldn't hold back his tears. I was in a coma for 3 weeks. Doctors told my family to say goodbye. I had brain surgery. I still have difficulty speaking. Jordan had bowed his head while listening to Marcus. It was obvious he was experiencing guilt for the first time. Marcus continued, I don't want money from Jordan. I just want the violent security guards working at this club to be fired. No one else should be harmed. These words enveloped the courtroom in silence. In the fourth hearing, a bomb would explode. Derek Thompson came to court to talk about the events of that night. Thompson was a 35-year-old former military security guard. He had been working at Jordan's den for 2 years. Your Honor, Thompson began, I am guilty. I attacked Marcus Williams, and nothing justifies this. The hall was in shock. Thompson continued, but I didn't do this alone. We were instructed to be harsh toward customers at Jordan's den. Sarah Mitchell stood up. Who gave these instructions? Club manager Robert Hayes, and Hayes was acting on Mr. Jordan's directives. Jordan's lawyer Sterling objected. Objection. There's no proof of these claims. But Thompson took out a file from his bag. There is proof. This is the written instruction manual Hayes gave us. It says, give the necessary lesson to customers who enter the VIP area without permission. The document was shown to the hall. Jordan's signature was at the bottom. This evidence had cornered Jordan. Judge Foster called Jordan to the stand again. Mr. Jordan, would you explain this document? Jordan was no longer as confident as before. Your Honor, this document, I don't remember. You don't remember? Isn't this your signature? Jordan's lawyer Sterling stood up. My client, but Jordan silenced him. Yes, it's my signature, Jordan confessed. But I didn't mean violence with this instruction. I just wanted to ensure security. Judge Foster's eyes flashed. Mr. Jordan, how else can the phrase, give the necessary lesson, be interpreted? Jordan couldn't answer. Sarah Mitchell intervened. Mr. Jordan, what did you tell Derek Thompson? I didn't tell him anything. Then what did you tell Robert Hayes? Jordan was silent. Your Honor, said Mitchell, Mr. Jordan isn't answering whether he knew about the violence. That critical moment had arrived. Judge Foster looked directly at Jordan. Mr. Jordan, did you know about the violence? Michael Jordan was standing in the courtroom. All eyes were on him. Judge Foster's question still echoed, Mr. Jordan, did you know about the violence? Jordan's silence lasted 10 seconds. Those 10 seconds were the longest moments of his career. Finally, he spoke. Your Honor, his voice was cracking. Yes, I knew. The courtroom exploded. Journalists were taking notes. Spectators were looking at each other in shock. Jordan continued. Jordan's den was an elite place. I knew some customers were crossing boundaries, and I told Hayes to show respect to customers, but also enforce our rules. But you didn't foresee the use of violence? Judge Foster asked. Jordan bowed his head. No, Your Honor. I would never want what happened to Marcus Williams, but I can't escape responsibility. This is my club and my responsibility. This confession became one of the turning points in court history. Michael Jordan had admitted his responsibility from his own mouth. Marcus's mother, Linda Williams, had not come to court until that day, but after Jordan's confession, she was there at the 5th hearing. 55-year-old Linda was a nurse. She hadn't left her son's side during the 3 weeks he was hospitalized. Judge Foster gave Linda the floor. Mrs. Williams, is there anything you'd like to say? Linda stood up, looked at Jordan, and began speaking. Mr. Jordan, I was your fan, too. When my son was little, he would wear your jerseys. We would watch Chicago Bulls games together. Jordan couldn't look at Linda. Linda continued. But that night my son came back from death's door. He was in a coma for 3 weeks. I didn't sleep in the hospital for 3 weeks either. There was crying in her voice. You offered money. But does my son's health have a price? That wasn't an accident, Mr. Jordan. That was your negligence. Jordan couldn't take it anymore. He stood up. Mrs. Williams, I'm very sorry. I wish I had been there that night. I wish I could have protected Marcus. Linda approached Jordan. Mr. Jordan, apologies aren't enough. Marcus is still receiving physical therapy. He may carry these scars for life. Jordan's eyes filled with tears. What can I do? How can I make amends? Linda's answer surprised everyone. Close that club. The sixth and final hearing day had arrived. Judge Foster would announce her decision. The courtroom had never been this full. Media, Jordan fans, lawyers, everyone was curious about this historic decision. Judge Foster took her place. This case was one of the most complex cases I've seen in my 30-year career, because here, it's not just about money, but about responsibility, justice, and conscience. The hall held its breath. Mr. Michael Jordan's fame doesn't exempt him from responsibility, but at the same time, his fame doesn't require him to be punished more severely. Foster continued, Mr. Jordan, your negligence that night caused Marcus Williams's injury. Your responsibility in this case is clear. Jordan had bowed his head. However, said the judge, Mr. Jordan's honesty in court and the remorse he showed must also be taken into account. My decision is as follows. Mr. Jordan, you will pay $5 million compensation to Marcus Williams. Additionally, Jordan's Den nightclub will be closed for 6 months, and the entire security system will be renewed. After the decision was announced, Judge Foster gave Jordan the final word. Jordan stood up. Your Honor, I accept this decision. I apologize again to Marcus Williams and his family. Then he turned to Marcus. Marcus, you were my fan, but I disappointed you. I'm closing Jordan's Den. I will never open such a place again. Marcus, in his wheelchair, looked at Jordan and nodded. Jordan continued, I was a perfectionist in basketball, but I couldn't maintain this standard in business life. This is my mistake, and I will bear its responsibility. Finally, he added, Marcus, if you allow me, I want to cover your physical therapy expenses too. This isn't about money. This is about conscience. Jordan's Den never opened again. Michael Jordan sold the club and donated the money to charity. Marcus Williams recovered fully and started his own successful company. Derek Thompson left security work forever. This story proves that fame doesn't protect you from justice. In the courtroom, legends become ordinary citizens facing the truth. Jordan learned that real power comes from accepting responsibility, not avoiding it. What do you think about Jordan's actions? Was justice served? Share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more shocking NBA courtroom stories. Next week, we're covering LeBron James's copyright scandal.